So 250 years ago, right now, the revolution was well underway. The American Revolution had been started. The Continental Congress was meeting in this building, Independence Hall. And one thing I've been doing every day is just checking letters that the Founding Fathers wrote back and forth to each other. So I figured I'd check today and see if I find anything interesting and share it with you. I've got my laptop right here. So I'm gonna be looking down and checking for letters. Okay, today is June 27th, and we are looking at June 27th, 1775. It's a little rainy, so we're under the umbrella today. In the background is Independence Hall. And today, the letters there are about 4 letters. First is from John Adams to James Warren. From John Adams to James Warren to John Adams from James Warren. And then from Ben Franklin to Browns and Collinson, and from Ben Franklin to John Sargent. So let's just take these in order. First, let's read from John Adams to James Warren. Let's see how long it is. It's long with some it's okay with some footnotes. Let's get through it. Dear friend, from Philadelphia, June 27, 1775. I am extremely obliged to you for the favor of the 20th of June. The last fall, I had a great many friends who kept me continually well informed of every event as it occurred. But this time, I have lost all my friends, excepting Colonel Warren of Plymouth and Colonel Palmer of Braintree, and my wife. Our dear Warren has fallen, with laurels on his brows, as fresh and blooming as ever graced an hero. I have suffered infinitely this time, from ill health and blind eyes at a time when a vast variety of great objects were crowding upon my mind. And when my dear country was suffering all the calamities of famine, pestilence, fire, and sword at once. At this Congress, we do as well as we can. I must leave it to some future opportunity, which I have a charming confidence will certainly come, to inform you fully of the history of our debates and resolutions. Last Saturday night at 11 o'clock, an express arrived from the worthy Governor Trumbull, informing of the Battle of Charlestown. 100 gentlemen flocked to our lodgings to hear the news. At 1 o'clock, Mr. H., Mr. A., and myself went out to inquire after the committee of this city in order to beg some powder. We found some of them, and these, with great politeness and sympathy for their brave brethren in the mass, agreed to go that night and send forward about 90 quarter casks, and before morning it was in motion. Between 2 and 3 o'clock I got to bed. We are contriving every way we can think of to get you powder. We have a number of plans for making saltpeter, and gentlemen here are very confident that we shall be able to furnish saltpeter and powder of our own manufacture, and that very soon. A method of making it will be published very soon by one of our committees. Before this reaches you, General Washington, Lee, and company will arrive among you. I wish to God you had been appointed a general officer in the room of some others. Adams and Adams strove to get it done, but narrow notions prevented it, not dislike to you, but fear of disobliging Pomeroy and his friends. Your government was the best we could obtain for you. We have passed some resolutions concerning North Carolina, which will do a great deal of good. We have allowed them to raise 1,000 men, and to take care of traitors if necessary. This must be kept secret. We are sending you 10 companies of riflemen. These, if the gentlemen of the southern colonies are not very partial, and must mistaken, are very fine fellows. Go Eagles! Sorry about that. I got distracted by that Eagles fan bus that went by, or fan car. It was making an Eagles cawing sound. I don't know if you could hear that. We are sending you 10 companies of riflemen. These, if the gentlemen of the southern colonies are not very partial and much mistaken, are very fine fellows. They are the most accurate marksmen in the world. They kill with a great exactness at 200 yards distance. They have sworn certain death to the ministerial officers. May they perform their oath. You will soon find that the Continental Congress are in deep enough. The commissions to the officers of the Army, the vote for your government, the votes about North Carolina, and a multitude of other votes, which you will soon hear of, will convince you. I have enclosed you an hint about saltpeter. Germans and others here have an opinion that every stable, dovehouse, cellar, vault, etc. is a mine of saltpeter. The enclosed proclamation coincides with this opinion. The mold under the stables and etc. may be boiled soon into saltpeter, it is said. Numbers are about it here. And then let's read one or two footnotes. Although Palmer, Warren, Gary, and Winthrop all wrote soon after the event describing the Battle of Bunker Hill, see their letters of 19th to 21st of June above, which we read, by the way. It was the dispatch from Trumbull, arriving on 24th of June, that brought the first news and spurred John Adams and the rest of the delegation to action. I also read that one. The dispatch contained a letter from Trumbull to the Congress that briefly mentioned the battle, and that was read to the members on the 26th of June. But more important, it also included a detailed account written by Elijah Hyde of Lebanon, Connecticut, who had been a spectator on Winter Hill during the battle. John Adams' account, in his autobiography, dates the arrival of Trumbull's dispatch as 23rd of June, the day that Washington left for Cambridge, an indication that John Adams did not consult the records of the Congress or a letter he wrote to AA on 23rd of June. On the 9th of June, this is footnote number 3. On the 9th of June, the Congress had resolved that Massachusetts owed no obedience to a parliamentary act that illegally changed the charter of the province, and that the provincial Congress should call for elections to a House of Representatives, which would choose a council. Until a royal government was willing to abide by the charter, the officers of governor and lieutenant governor should be considered vacant, the powers of governor being exercised meanwhile by the council. John Adams was not entirely happy with this solution. Years later, he explained that, quote, although this advice Although this advice, quote, although this advice was in a great degree conformable to the New York and Pennsylvania system, or in other words, to the system of Mr. Dickinson and Mr. Duane, I thought it an acquisition, for it was a precedent of advice to the separate states to institute governments, and I doubted not we should soon have more occasions to follow this example. Still, at the time, John Adams remained somewhat uneasy about the advice that had been given Massachusetts. In letters to the Warrens, he pointedly asked how the government was going on. John Adams to James Warren on 20th of June, and to Joseph Warren on 21st of June, both of which we read. Okay, and then finally, the enclosure has not been found, but see the recipe in John Adams' hand and the explanatory note written by on Joseph Palmer to John Adams, 19th of June. We also read that. So you can go back and find these letters on these dates that we read. And the recipe for saltpeter we read on that letter on the 19th of June. Okay, let's back out of this letter and let's read the next letter. To John Adams from James Warren. Okay, this is an update from Boston, I believe. Okay. From James Warren, my dear sir, Watertown, June 27th. My dear sir, I feel great reluctance in suffering any opportunity to pass without writing to you. I can easily suppose your anxiety as well as curiosity make you solicitous to hear everything that passes here. Since my last, nothing material has taken place. The military operations have considered in a few movements and a few shot exchanged with very little effect. Sometimes on the side of Roxbury and sometimes on the side of Charlestown. Our army have taken every precaution in their power for their defense and future operations. They are heaving up lines from Charles to Mystic River and have them in great forwardness. They are carried across Temple's farm and his beautiful groves of locusts have fallen a sacrifice to the necessity of the times. At Roxbury, they have fortified themselves in a manner almost as impregnable as Gage has done in Boston. We want but one article to enable us to act offensively and make a vigorous campaign. Men in fine spirits, well provided with everything but the one I mention. The generals appointed give us great satisfaction, especially the first and the third, whose characters have for a great while been such as to fix our esteem and confidence. Your attention must be fixed on the article of powder, and I will say no more. I can't but hope you will make some suitable provision for our General Thomas. His merits in the military have surprised us all. I can't describe to you the odds between the two camps. While one has been spiritless, sluggish, confused, and dirty, I mean where General Putnam and our friend Warren's influence have not had their effects. The other has been spirited, active, regular, and clean. He has appeared with the dignity and abilities of a general. We have no intercourse with Boston. Get no intelligence from there, but by those who steal out. From them, we have certain accounts of the amazing slaughter made in the last action. Their men die of the slightest wounds, owing to the manner of living they are reduced to. So there will, in the end, be but little odds between being killed or wounded, and we may reckon perhaps 1,400 or 1,500 killed. I am told General Howe says the army shall not return to Boston, but by the way of Roxbury, a very pretty march. It is with confidence said that Burgoyne has not been seen since the action, and it is given out that he is gone home. We are not without our hopes that we shall have little trouble from his enterprising genius. With regard to us, we are as busy as you ever saw pismirs on a molehill. I don't understand that. Our attention is principally fixed on the army to equip, regulate, quiet, and inspirit them, and enough it is at times for us. Generals Washington and Lee, I dare say, will relieve us. The enclosed letter, I presume, will tell you Miss Adams is all well. You will remember I had not a line from you by the two last conveyances. My compliments to all that know me, particularly to my good friend Adams, who must excuse my not writing. 'Tis not for want of esteem or affection. He can hardly conceive of my hurry. I wish you every happiness, and am your sincere friend, etc., James Warren. I have not been able to obtain the pamphlet you mentioned, and indeed, after seeing it advertised in a York paper, have been less solicitous, supposing you would have it from there. Gosh, this storm, the wind and the rain is picking up. I think we may have to call it here soon, folks. Okay, folks, it's raining pretty hard now. The rain suddenly picked up as I was reading, so I'll continue that. I'll continue reading the letters from the 27th inside. Okay, and we're back. We just finished reading to John Adams from James Warren. And next let's click into Benjamin Franklin to Browns and Collinson. It's a short one, it looks like. To Browns and Collinson. London, June 27th, 1775. Gentlemen, pay the balance of my account to John Sargent, Esquire, whose receipt shall be your discharge. I am, gentlemen, your old friend and humble servant, Benjamin Franklin. That's it. Why Benjamin Franklin wrote as of London, the reader must guess. No record of this transaction appears in his journal or ledger, and all we know about it is contained in the note itself and in the following document. And 7, the banker, one of Benjamin Franklin's oldest English friends. That's interesting and a little mysterious. Last, let's read from Benjamin Franklin to John Sargent. Okay. Dear Sir, I have written to Masters Browns and Collinson to pay the balance of my account to you, and I beg you to take the trouble of receiving and keeping it for me, or my children. It may possibly soon be all I shall have left, as my American property consists chiefly of houses in our seaport towns, which your ministry have begun to burn, and I suppose are wicked enough to burn them all. It now requires great wisdom. It now requires great wisdom on your side of the water, to prevent a total separation. I hope it will be found among you. We shall give you one opportunity more of recovering our affections and retaining the connection, and that I fear will be the last. My love to Mrs. Sargent and your sons. My best wishes attend you all, being ever, with sincere esteem and the most grateful sense of your long-continued friendship, Dr. Sir, your affectionate, humble servant, Benjamin Franklin. Mr. Sargent. Okay. I love the way Ben Franklin writes. He's basically writing that all his houses in Boston are getting burned. That's what he means, I'm pretty sure. Because the British attacked and burned Charlestown and Boston, and those cities and towns were evacuated subsequently. So Benjamin Franklin is clearly annoyed and has written to the banker in London saying, please pay off my debts with the money you have, because most of my wealth is in those houses that your army is burning right now. So that's, yeah, there's some subtext there for sure. So if you like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.